We get caught many times in the same old habits through each day, and many stages even though we try to stay away from them. If we firmly continue choosing to live along the old path, then we will have the same old result as before, and there will be no change at all. But to have a brighter future and a happier, peaceful life, we need to take actions starting right now. However, to achieve that we need to have enough understanding and perseverance in practice. That is the only path that can pull us out of the old negative tracks and lead us to a more peaceful and happier place. Hello my friend, I am Tan, from the meditation channel at Lotus Sen Tan 6. In this video, let us watch until the end, so we can go deeply together into the 12 Dependent Originations. That is the cause that will lead us to the future where we wish to arrive by transforming our body and mind starting from this very moment in the present. Please subscribe to the channel, like, share, and share to spread together with the channel in the next videos. First, we need to look deeply to understand that many difficulties and sufferings in life do not begin from great events. They often arise very quietly, just from a small thought, newly born in the mind. That moment is the starting point of an entire subtle chain of movement within human consciousness. When understanding is not yet complete, the mind easily falls into the obscurity of ignorance. From that obscurity, old tendencies and habits begin to operate, creating reactions in the mind that push us to act. They are like underground currents that have existed for a long time in the consciousness. Just waiting for a small opportunity suitable with the outer environment to rise up. When those reactions arise, they nourish the familiar stream of awareness in the mind, forming the consciousness of the stream of thoughts. From there, the mind begins to construct the sense of self, and the world, creating the name of things and phenomena called form. When name and form operate, the 6 doors of human awareness gradually become clearer, called the 6 entrances through the 6 senses. From the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, we begin to contact the surrounding world. Each contact is called contact, where mind and object meet. To feel clearly, let us return to the deep breath and observe our body and mind, to fully feel how the senses are operating. Inhale, gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose, and notice your belly softening and sinking. In the stillness, our perceptions through the senses are received more subtly, truthfully, and clearly. From this contact, feelings arise within, called feeling. Feelings can be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. If mindfulness is absent, those feelings quickly lead to grasping and the desire to prolong what is pleasant or avoid what is unpleasant. That is craving. When that desire continues to be nourished, the mind begins to cling more strongly to what it likes or believes to be its own. That clinging and grasping is called attachment. And from this grasping, each person gradually creates new patterns of existence in life, called becoming. When this process continues, it leads to the formation of new states of living in the mind and in life called birth. And from there, the consequences of arising lead to aging, change, loss, regret, and disappearance. Looking back at this whole chain of movement, we see something very profound. Every great spiral of suffering actually begins from a very small moment, a spark of lack of mindfulness. Just one thought arising in the darkness of ignorance can gradually spread into a great fire in life. And that familiar diluted stream of consciousness quietly carries us through the passing days. While many times we do not even realize when we stepped into that spiral, since the moment we were born searching, living, and then fading away. Because of that, when the light of understanding and mindfulness is lit, we begin to recognize each link of this chain of causes right when it is still a small spark, or when it has just begun. When we see this clearly, we can stop right at the very first small spark. And when that spark is no longer nourished, the spiral of suffering gradually settles, opening a gentler, friend, and freer path for the mind. Through meditation, practice, and contemplation, each link becomes clearly visible through every stage of arising. In stillness and observing the breath, going in and out, we pay attention to each action to see where it begins. Each awareness appearing through name and form to the information entering from the six senses. To the feeling of unpleasant or pleasant to liking and wanting to hold on and continue being drawn into a new cycle of birth. And then gradually disappearing. Let us return to the breath to observe the movements of the 12 dependent originations within our own body and mind. Inhale, gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose, and notice your belly softening and sinking. Within the slow breath, we continue observing each moment in this stage of the 12 dependent originations in detail. We begin to recognize the darkness of knowledge not yet clear because of our ignorance. Because wrong perceptions are where every misunderstanding about life quietly begins to arise. When it is not clearly seen, the mind imagines and fabricates actions, the familiar reactions formed from old habits. From there, the stream of consciousness operates, recording and reacting to the world according to patterns accumulated from before. Within that vague memory and awareness, name and form and appearances arise. Body and mind will create the experience of a separate self-identity of their own. Then the six doors of the six senses open: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, contact and register the world. When contact occurs, the reaction of contact arises, forming like a very small spark between mind and object. From that point of contact, feeling arises, sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, sometimes simply neutral. If If mindfulness is lacking, the feeling immediately turns into liking and disliking, causing actions that want to grasp or push away. When the desire grows stronger, the mind begins to cling, holding tightly to the idea that it is ours, not wanting to let go. That clinging nourishes becoming, causing a new mental state that wants to grasp, to form, and continue operating in familiarity. From there, a new self is born in each moment, called birth, within the stored memories of the body of past experience. And then all those states also move toward aging and death, dissolving like evening clouds, allowing the meditator to clearly see the whole cycle of the 12 dependent originations occurring right within a single breath, in and out, following the cycle of arising and fading of rebirth. Contemplating the 12 dependent originations in meditation practice is not about learning a complicated theory, but learning how to look deeply into one's own mind. When we look carefully, suffering does not suddenly fall into life. It forms step by step, very quietly. That chain begins with ignorance and gradually moves through many layers of consciousness, finally leading to aging and death. When the meditator sees this process, we understand that suffering is not destiny, but a stream of conditions that can be recognized and transformed. In daily life, suffering rarely begins from something big. It often arises very early at small points, or knots in the mind, such as emotions, then turns into feeling. A pleasant sensation gives rise to the wish to keep it. An unpleasant sensation gives rise to resistance. From there, liking begins to grow like an underground current in the mind. Without mindfulness, even a small feeling can lead the mind very far, from desire to irritation, from irritation to suffering. Therefore, meditation practice does not aim to escape feelings, but to see them clearly the moment they arise. When a feeling appears, if we simply observe it quietly, without grasping, without trying to hold on, then suffering has no chance to form. When there is no clinging, the chain of conditions stops before suffering has time to grow. That is the point where the meditator learns to stop the spiral within a very small moment of the mind, through each sensation of the breath. This contemplation also helps us deeply understand the law of cause and effect. Every mental state has conditions and reasons for arising, and when we see this clearly, we no longer think suffering comes entirely from outside. Circumstances are only one part of conditions, while the reaction and choice within our mind is what determines suffering or happiness. When continuing to observe the process of the 12 dependent originations within each breath, the meditator gradually realizes that every phenomenon in the mind arises, exists for a brief moment, and then quietly fades away. No feeling lasts forever. No mental state is truly fixed. From this understanding, wisdom begins to open, and the mind gradually becomes lighter and less attached. We contemplate the 12 dependent originations to clearly see how suffering is created within our own mind. When we see each link forming, we can stop right from the earliest steps. And in that moment, the path of suffering no longer continues, leaving only mindfulness and peace. The journey in the game of breath will become more and more fascinating if you truly cherish it. This practice, just like a habit, is a key to unlocking every doorway within your body and mind. So keep watching and keep practicing with me in this video and the ones to come. If you have any thoughts or reflections, feel free to leave a comment below. And if this video helped or inspired you, please click like, subscribe, and share it with others. Thank you.